Today we're going to be talking about how you can throw a football farther and some drills to work on that. Now when it comes to arm strength as a quarterback, we're going to talk about just pretty much the principles of arm strength and what you want to focus on from a throwing mechanics standpoint, and then we're going to give you some drills to work on this mechanical, I guess you could say, like philosophy or ideas that we have. So first things first, all of your power as a quarterback is going to come from your back leg and also your hips. Now it's not so much about like just your back leg and your hips, like you pushing off your back leg and your hips rotating through at any time. It's about the timing in which your hips decide to rotate and how you transfer your weight from your back leg to your front leg. So if I'm just setting up like ready to throw, let's say I want to throw like a deep fade over here to the left, right? My number one goal is to have weight loaded onto my back leg. I would say probably about like 70%, and you should be very light on your front foot. You should be able to pick this front foot up and have no problem setting it back down. If you're really heavy and you're trying to pick it up and it's like a hard stomp, that means you have too much weight onto your front side. Now the reason why we want to be light on this front foot and have weight on my back leg is obviously so I could transfer my weight. You want to take this 70% and transfer it to the front leg where you have like 30%. So you finish and end up with like 90, 95 on the front side. But remember, that transfer needs to happen at the right time of your throwing motion. They call it the throwing sequence, like a sequence of events. So pre-throw, you're in this base. I call it getting stacked. You want your head, your knee, and your foot stacked on top of each other in like a column, right? So you're here. Now the reason why you want your weight back, so you can transfer it obviously, but when your weight is loaded on your backside, you have more range of motion to rotate your shoulders in the opposite direction of your front step. They call that concept dissociation. Dissociation is a fancy word for separation. You have to separate your upper body from your lower body. So I go take a step to the target, I don't want to do this and have all my weight lunge forward, because then my back leg, my back foot, my back hip are all kind of left behind, and I'm just using all arm. And that's actually going to cause a decrease in power, and it's going to put a lot of pressure on our arm. We want power, but we want sustainable power. That means that we're not putting a ton of pressure on my arm by throwing all arm. So we keep my weight on my back leg. I take a step to the target. I don't want my weight to rush forward too soon. I want to stay loaded back here, because that will help me rotate my shoulders back. So now my shoulders are rotated back and I'm here, foot's down, then I decide to transfer my weight. And when I transfer my weight, my hip fires through before the ball and before my shoulder. And that right there is how I generate power. The hips got to go through after the front stride and before the shoulders in the football. And if you could get that concept, guys, you're going to get so much more power on your throws, so much more distance on your throws. Now we're going to get into some drills to work on that exact concept. Also, fellas, if you're watching this and you are a quarterback or a wide receiver, we're going to be traveling out to 15 different states across the U.S. this year for 2-day-long QB and wide receiver training camps. So if you guys would like to sign up, train with myself, I'm at every single camp and my staff of coaches. Check out that very first link in the description below. It's where you can get all the information and sign up for the states that we are going to. We're going to be coming out to San Francisco, California. That camp is completely sold out. We don't have any more available spots, and every single camp that I'm about to list will sell out within the next 2 to 3 months, you guys. So make sure you take advantage of the fact that we have open spots now. The last 2 years, every single camp has sold out by 2-3 months when we had first announced it, okay? Next camp we'll be having is in Orlando, Florida. Then we'll be coming out to Phoenix, Arizona, Charlotte, North Carolina, Austin, Texas, Seattle, Washington, Las Vegas, Nevada, Chicago, Illinois, and then we'll be coming out to Newark, New Jersey, Birmingham, Alabama, Houston, Texas, Boston, Massachusetts. Then we'll be coming out to Columbus, Ohio, Boise, Idaho, and finishing off our tour in Los Angeles, California. So guys, want some more information? If you want to sign up, very first link in that description below. We'd love to have you there. Now this first drill, you guys, is a simple drill that we can do to work on getting weight to my back leg off of like a 3-step drop and a hitch. We talked about how important that is to help me delay my shoulders and to help my hips be able to rotate through before my shoulders. So a lot of times on a deep ball, let's say I'm throwing a deep post to the left over here. QBs will take a 3-step drop, they get to the top of the drop and they hitch up, and watch my base, you guys. I have a little bit of weight on my front foot, which is okay, but guys will hitch up and they leave that weight on their front foot. So when your weight's already onto your front side, you're not going to be able to transfer as much weight, number one, but when your weight's forward, you can't delay your shoulders. So you're throwing all arms. So this drill helps us get weight on my back leg so I could further engage my hips and my legs in a throw, but at the right timing so it takes pressure off my arms. So we're going to simulate that top of the drop hitch. When I get to the top of my drop and I hitch up, I want to replace my feet. I want my right foot to step where my left foot was. I want my left foot to be insanely light, like I could pick it up, weights on my back leg, and arc my shoulders. So we're going to work on that sequence 3 times, and on the 3rd time we're going to throw, and you want to do 8 reps of this drill. We'll show you that should look full speed in a second. So your weight's going to be forward. All we're doing is replace, go back, replace, go back, 3rd one, replace, and then throw. It helps if you do this on a line so you can kind of know where your right foot needs to step and where your left foot needs to step. If you don't have a line, that's totally fine. You just have to make sure that you are stepping in the right spot with your back leg. But I'm gonna show you how this should look full speed. Remember, 8 reps of this drill. Now, one of the mistakes that a lot of quarterbacks will make on a deep throw is not keeping their weight back as they take a step. Remember, we talked about that, right, you guys? As you take a step to the target, you got to keep weight on your backside because that allows you to rotate your shoulders the opposite direction. They call it dissociation or separation, right? So a lot of QBs, when they throw deep, they push and their weight goes forward. So when your front foot gets down and all your weight is onto your front side, you can't separate. So you're just going to be throwing all arms. So this drill has a way of correcting that naturally to where you don't have to think about it that much. So you want to set up a target maybe like 30, 40 yards away, however far you feel comfortable throwing this thing, but it should be relatively deep. You're going to have weight loaded onto your back leg, and I call this a no stride drill. So your front foot is going to be open like you've already taken a step, but you're going to maintain 2 hands on the ball. So all you're going to do is you're going to rotate back and separate your hands, and you are not transferring your weight or firing your hips until after your hands separate. So you're going to be here, you rotate back and separate, and then you fire through, bringing this ball through. But remember, your front foot is not moving. This is our no stride drill, so that's exactly what we have to do. So I'm going to show you how this should look full speed. We want to do about 12 to 15 reps of this drill to work on the hips going through before your shoulders to have that proper throwing sequence.